Hello, teachers and staff. Let's talk about making a quiz in Google Forms. Starting from the Google page, several ways I can get to Google Forms. I click on my stack, I scroll down to Forms. Ta-da, Google Forms. I can start with a blank, or I can do a blank quiz. Since this is geared towards a quiz, I'm going to choose blank quiz. First thing I do in any type of Google Doc I create, or Google Quiz, or file, folder, what have you, is I name it. Computer. Okay. Now, name it same thing here. So before I start actually creating questions, let's go into our settings. So here's where you choose what you want the kids to be able to do, what you want to be able to collect. I collect all email addresses when I'm doing a quiz because the kids don't always put in their first and last names the way I want them to. Response receipt. So that means as soon as they respond and click submit, they then get an email with their response. So for this one, I'd like them to get their response, whether they want it or not, always. Okay. So I'm restricting this to North Plainfield users only. So only my students or anyone with a North Plainfield email can take this quiz. Limit to one response. That depends on if you want them to be able to take it a few times. So for this instance, I'm going to leave it open. You can also decide if you want them to be able to edit after they submit. So for me, I want them to edit after they submit. Once they see wrong answers or they decide they're going to go back and fix it. Okay, so now I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to settings. And here's my presentation. Show link to submit another response. So that's because I added in there that they don't have to take it just once. Shuffle question order. This is great when in the classroom, so the questions aren't in the same order for every student. Okay. Progress bar would show them how far they've gotten. And a confirmation message, you can say, congratulations, you took your first quiz for computer location. And once they submit, that's what they get. Save that. I continually save. Then I go to quizzes. Here's where we get some more options. So your first quiz option. This is newer in Google Forms. It's called locked mode on Chromebooks. That means that they cannot open any other tabs or applications while taking this quiz. Okay. For this quiz, I'm not worried about it. It's really more of a what do you know and what can you remember from the video that they're going to watch. Release grade. This depends on if you have any open-ended questions with points. If you have open-ended questions, you're going to want to click later after manual review, and I'll show you why. So do you want them to see their missed questions, their correct answers, point values? After the grades are released is when they get things correct or incorrect. Point values. As you go through and add in your answers, it will show the students on the side what their points are for each question, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, so now that I have all of my settings, and I can change my settings as I go if I decide that I want to do something else. So my first question, I actually don't want it as a question. I want to add a video. So when you're ready to look up a video, you can either type in the title of what you're looking for, or if you have the URL, which I already had it pulled up here. So I copy and I paste the URL. And this is the video that I want. I'm going to move this. Actually, let's Let's keep this question up top. Show you why in a second. Okay. So I'm going to tell them, watch this video and then answer the questions. Okay. The top is going to be first name. Wow, first name and last name. Google automatically sees that that is a short answer. I'm going to make that required, meaning that they cannot submit this quiz until they've answered that question. Okay, short answer text, answer key. I'm not going to do anything with the answer key. I'm not going to give it points. I'm going to leave that alone. So watch this video and answer questions. They have that. Now I'm going to add a question. It pops to above, so I want to put it down here. So my first question, I'm going to do a simple multiple choice. Computers started out as basic. They have to fill in the blank. So option 1 is option 2, storage. Option 3, games. Option 4, calculators. Okay, so now here's where I'm going to add my answer key. The answer is calculators, and I'm going to give that a 2 points. So now when they answer it, I will know if they got it right or wrong. Okay. So that's our simple multiple choice. Let's go to, let's make this one a checkbox. Checkboxes mean that they can choose more than one answer. So what are things do all computers have? Check for answers. Check for answers. Input. Processing. Means storage. Output. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to go to my answer key. Because there are 4 possible answers, I'm going to make that 4 points. Input, processing, storage, output are my correct answers. This is a question that I would have to go back and review before releasing their points. I can also add answer feedback. If they got the incorrect answers, I can tell them, please try again, rewatch the video, add a link. Correct answers, I can say, great job, you're ready for the next question. Okay, so now let's make another question. Let's make this one a drop-down. Drop-downs are very similar to multiple choice. It's just a different format. So let's say the inputs give computer information that is stored in blank. Option 1, monitor. Go to my answer key. This is a 1. Okay, so it's stored in memory, so 1 point. Done. Now notice, since I made my first question a required, it's all automatically making them required. So now let's try a multiple choice grid. So I'm going to make that multiple choice grid. I'm going to name this choose 3 examples of put. Okay, so let's say photos, keyboard, video, robot, commands. Okay, so column 1, yes. My column 2, no. And I'm requiring a question in each row. So let's click on the answer key and see what this would look like for the students. So photos. Is that an example of output? Yes. Keyboard? No. Video? Yes. Robot commands? Yes. So I'm making each of those 1 point. So this is how the students would see it. Fabulous. So these are the basics of how to create a quiz. Now let's see what it looks like for the students. So I click on the little I that says preview. It tells them immediately that their email address is being collected. It also tells them how many points each is worth. And because I randomized my questions, they're all over the place. So seeing this, I don't like it. So I'm going to go into my settings, go into my quiz. Nope, presentation. I don't want to shuffle the question order. Okay, save that. Now let's check it again. First name, last name, here we go. Here's my video for the students to watch. Here's my first multiple choice. Here's my checkoff answers. Here's my drop down. And here's my multiple choice grid. And once I'm done, I submit. Okay, so let's add a short answer question at the bottom. I want their opinion. So I'm going to make this a short answer. How do you think computers have changed or improved our lives? Okay, so here's a short answer. I'm going to go to my answer key. I believe that's a 5-point question. Done. Now from here, I have this required. However, if a student answers, I believe, they should be able to then submit it. Well, let's change that. I clicked on response validation. I go to length, minimum character count. I'm going to say 15 characters. Please respond in more details. Now let's see what that looks like when we go back. So here I am, a student. Okay, there's my first answer. I watched the quiz, the movie. I'm going to say they started out as TVs. Input, processing, storage, output. The input is stored in the memory. Okay, 3 examples of output. So this is worth 4 points. Yes. And it's automatically telling me that I have to put an answer in each one. Yes. No. Yes. Now, how do you think computers have changed or improved our life? I believe. Okay. I click submit. I can't. I have to say in a more detailed response, so now I can submit. Here was my answer. Congratulations. You took your first quiz for computer rotation. That was my message to everyone who took it. So now, back as the teacher, I have one response. I can either go through a summary, I can go through each question individually, or I can click on individual. Up top here, it says score not released. The student hasn't received anything telling them what their score is. So this is a chance for you to grade it. So 0 points there. Got that wrong. Okay. And at this point, you can add individual feedback. Great try again, rewatch the video. Maybe you have another link for them to see. Okay, I earned all 4 points here. I earned my point here. So now here we go. I got that one wrong. I got that one wrong. So I only earned 2 out of 4 possible points. Okay. And this is where I have to manually score as the teacher, and then I can give individual feedback. I agree that it has helped us connect with others. You see any issues, please actions and save. Okay. So edits are pending. You have to save them. Okay. And now, if you're ready to release their score, so this student, me, got a 12 out of 16. Release the score. So I can either do it to all respondents, or I can just do it to one person and check off, give them a message, and send emails and release. So the student will then get an email, and they will then have a score so they know how they did. Now that we've graded every piece and released the score, the student will receive an email with their score. So if I go to my email, here we are, score released. My score has been released, a 12 out of 16. And now if I click view, I can see what I've chosen as my answers and the correct answers. So there's my correct answer. I did well on this one. I answered that one well. Oops, I missed these two. I flipped those. Okay. With my correct answers. Okay. So there's the individual feedback from my teacher. It says it's marked wrong, but I marked it correct manually. So now the student can see exactly what they got wrong, what they got right, and if they have questions, they can email the teacher. Thanks for watching, and feel free to contact a techie if you have any more questions.